La 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 la, love is love. La 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 la, love is love. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about me. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about me.
Hello, good afternoon. Let's fix my hair again, my beautiful hair.
It's not afternoon, it's evening.
Okay, this is
Time is it? It's 6:15. Yes, good evening.
yeah, this is David, and I'm Andrea. And so this is our marriage story, part 2. Let me just fix this a little bit. Can you? I think you need to move over a little bit because you're not even in the frame.
Well,
Okay.
they don't want to see me anyhow.
Okay, so before I start with our story that we wanted to talk about I want to bring up a couple of things as far as the community are concerned. One is I bought what is it called? From McPherson. I bought belly jelly, I think it's called. It's that baby fat. They call it belly jelly. And something else, I can't remember what I bought. And I tell you, they are so quick with shipping, and they are really courteous and on the ball as far as emails and things are concerned. I think I got the package like within 2 days out of Canada. I know that Jody, you had bought a toddler sculpt from them, and you were a little concerned that that you had to pay in American dollars versus Canadian currency. And I think the reason why they are doing that is because when you are in Canada, they don't pay you for shipping, but they pay me. They charge me for shipping, even though
Well, you
the shipping.
still have an exchange rate involved.
Right. That's why.
Like us buying German
Right, that's
euros.
why she was talking about it will cost her more money paying in American dollars versus Canadian currency. But I think the reason why they're doing that, Jody, is because they need to make up for the shipping that they now are not getting from you, because shipping is not just shipping, but it's also handling. In other words, the boxes, the material to ship, and the labor that it takes to ship. So that's all part of the shipping and handling. So they're trying to make that up. So that's that. Another thing is there is somebody sent me a screenshot yesterday about the certain someone that I've had a beef with now for like a year.
Certain someone?
Yeah, saying that
Everybody knows who you're talking
well,
about.
I'm not gonna mention her name anymore.
I know.
Saying that who like I'm trying to discredit her or whatever, and if somebody wants to know the truth, her playlist is out there, and which is true. Whoever is out there wants to see both sides, go to the playlist. Just be aware that the playlist of me is completely altered. As you can tell, like certain snippets have been taken out of my videos and cut and pasted to suit her narrative. The bottom line is the person I'm talking to right now made it impossible for anyone in the community now to deal with situations privately from one collector to another, because I tried to do that. Teresa tried to do that privately without throwing the seller under the bus. As a matter of fact, covering for the seller with bad box openings, bad products, defective products. We tried not to throw the sellers under the bus, and what we got for it was that exact video was then thrown in our face, saying, "Oh, see, our product really wasn't so bad because they made a video saying that the product was great." So what you basically did is you and your buddies are doing a disservice to this community by now needing to do everything on the up and up. If anybody receives anything that they don't absolutely 100% love, make a video and say you don't love it, that you're disappointed, that this is not what you wanted. So with that being said, that's it with that. Let's talk about, okay, so I think where we left off is when we moved to Burbank from Hollywood. Why did we leave Hollywood to move to Burbank?
Oh,
and
boy.
and
Here we go.
right, and the reason obviously why we did it was, for our son, who was at the time 3. We didn't want him to live in that environment. And with that environment, there's a couple of things that come to mind. That come to
Well,
my
to
mind.
begin with, it wasn't when you and I got together and I basically became Tyler's stepfather. His dad really wasn't involved in anything. It didn't take us very long to realize that Hollywood absolutely is not conducive to family life at
Right.
all.
But these couple of instances that we're going to talk about really make that very clear. And I think if it wouldn't have been for those instances, maybe we could have stayed a little bit longer. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe.
I don't think
Okay.
we wanted to.
So the one instance was like all the things that happened in this one apartment building that we lived in. So
But
there was.
we lived in the penthouse.
Yep. Anyway, so since we lived in the penthouse and we lived with my brother had like this thing where he was like a sun worshiper. And he would, when he wasn't working, he would go on our rooftop terrace and sunbathe. And
Drink beer.
drink beer, have a good old time. And so anyway, so I didn't see it. It was just this is what he told me, and what's actually, it's true. So basically what happened was he was lying on the rooftop in his swimming trunks, getting a tan, drinking beer, smoking a cigarette, and he's looking out over the roof onto the other building, and all of a sudden he sees
No,
this.
it was still the same building.
Yeah,
It
I
was
know,
just
but
a
he was like,
long
right, but he was
rooftop.
just like looking around, and all of a sudden he sees this guy in front of him. And like on the other side, because we had a gate, like a fence, like a wrought iron fence over, where our property was, and it was on the other side. And he recognized the guy, but he was a little bit too far away for Mike to say anything, and he didn't want to call out for him either. So anyway, so the guy is just walking on the roof. And Mike is like watching him, and he's got nothing better to do but watch people. So he's just watching
What
him,
else you
and the
gonna
guy,
do up on the roof?
yeah. So he's like watching him, and the guy's walking on the roof and walking on the roof and walking on the roof and walking on the roof, and all of a sudden, boop, gone. The guy jumped off the roof into, and Mike was like, huh? And he got up because he recognized the guy, was like a neighbor. So he climbed over the fence, he ran across the roof, and where the guy jumped was right where the subterranean garage was, where you
The driveway went downhill because it was in the basement.
right.
And so the driveway was pretty slanted. And this guy actually went over backwards, if you remember right.
I didn't see it.
He went, well, what Mike told me was he went over backwards and boom, hit the driveway. But we were on, what, the third or,
Fourth floor.
yeah.
Fourth floor.
50, 60 feet, not counting the driveway.
Yep. And he basically
It
wasn't.
had like a smashed watermelon.
Yeah, it wasn't an accident. He killed himself.
On
Basically,
purpose.
on purpose. Yeah, just boom,
And
dead.
then the police came and put up the tape and everything. And remember, the people couldn't get out of the parking garage
Right.
because he was late, and the police didn't cover him up for like 2 or 3 hours.
It was
and like
crazy.
I said, I didn't see it myself, but the way Mike explained it, your brother, was just like his head was like the smashed watermelon.
Yeah, let's not go into detail
Yeah, I
there.
don't want to get
Yeah,
gory.
so that was like
So that
one.
was number one.
That was number one. Number two was the fire. So how did that fire start? Hey, make a long story short though.
I'll try and make it fast. They had some young people that had rented an apartment, and I guess they didn't pay rent for a long time, and they got evicted. Well, I guess they still must have had the key codes to get into the garage, the underground thing, and once you get in, you can get in the elevator. So they came up and occupied their old apartment. I don't know why, but they started a fire in the apartment. I'm at work. I'm not there. Andrea and I guess Tyler was still there.
Yeah.
We had gotten in a tiff with her brother, so her brother Mike had gone down and rented his own apartment, like what, one floor below us?
Yeah.
And so here's this big fire going on in the apartment. And Andrea and Tyler get out, and then Andrea's looking, where's my brother? Where's my
Everybody's
brother?
like, all the people out of the apartment building, we all staying at the side. The fire department comes, and the fire marshal, the fire crew is like, is everybody out of the building? Is anybody left in the building? No, I don't think so. I'm like, hey, my brother is still in there.
He's
So you
up
think,
there sleeping.
He's sleeping because he was working nights.
Oblivious to everything.
Yeah, and then what happens?
He comes out with a couple of suitcases.
So all of a sudden,
He's ready to go.
all of a sudden I'm
Okay,
looking.
the building's burned down.
Oh my God! It's like it was so hilarious. I'm looking down, like towards the entrance of the apartment building. All of a sudden, here's my brother with his two suitcases. Hello, there's a fire. There's a fire. We gotta go. I mean, packing his suitcases.
Last guy out of the apartment.
No shirt on, just his shorts, with his two suitcases, running out of the apartment.
Just
oh my
like
God!
it's a normal occurrence.
Yeah, like sure he takes his suitcases.
Okay, do you want to go into the third thing?
Oh, with Dave and Rhonda. Yeah, might as well. I mean, this is Hollywood. Those are Hollywood days.
We met a couple by the name of Dave, and Dave was from Louisiana. And his girlfriend Rhonda was a beauty queen from Virginia,
Yep.
and her father was
Some
a
sort
politician
of
of some
senator
sort.
or something.
But she had won a lot of local beauty pageants, and she really was a pretty girl. And they were in the penthouse. There's three penthouses. Pam and Paul had one, Dave and Rhonda had one, and then we had one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got all this flat roof between everything. Well, Rhonda ended up working for she worked
Like a
in-
gentleman's club for Chinese people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where she
Downtown
was like an
LA.
escort, made a
Right.
ton of money. Don't know if she was anything sexual or not. She came home one night really late, like what, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and when she went through the security gate to park, a black man walked in behind her, and when she went up to get to the elevator, he grabbed her and put a knife to her throat and took her upstairs. Well, Dave was messed up on coke. He was a terrible drug addict, and he laid in front of the TV in a sleeping bag all day long. He didn't work. Rhonda earned all the money. He just spent the money on drugs. Anyhow, Rhonda intentionally made a lot of noise when she was trying to get into the building.
To alert
and
him. To alert Dave.
got up, and he had a .357 Magnum, and he hid behind the door. They come in, throw on the lights. The guy takes Rhonda down behind that the bar area.
Yeah.
And Dave tells him to drop the knife, and the guy won't do it. Dave shoots him right between the eyes, blows his brains out, kills him just like that. Obviously, the police came and everything. A couple of days later, I went over the roof and climbed over their little, like Andre said, the wrought iron railing that you have on your patios. and I'm looking through the sliding glass door. They hadn't cleaned it up. This guy's brains is sitting in a little pile on their carpet where he died. Well, that was that.
But how did that guy? What did they say? How did this guy? Wasn't it like a story that he
He
followed
had
her?
just gotten out of prison
Right.
like 2 or 3 days earlier, and it was like his brother-in-law, and he told his wife he wasn't coming home until he had some money. And his brother-in-law stayed outside by the street. I don't remember the name of the street.
Screenland.
Poinsettia, was that Screenland?
Screenland.
Okay, but anyhow, his brother-in-law stayed outside, and this guy went upstairs not to rape Rhonda, but to get money from him.
Mm-hmm.
Then remember, they confiscated Dave's 57,
Mm-hmm.
and Dave knew that I had a 357, and so he came over and asked me to borrow my gun
Mm-hmm.
and my bullets because they took all of his away,
Mm-hmm.
and he was afraid that these guys were going to come back and
finish the job.
and so I bought into it and I loaned him my gun and my bullets. And then Pam and Paul called the cops and turned me in because they knew Dave had a new gun. We were both named David. And so they knew that I had loaned my gun to Dave, and they made me go back and get my gun back.
Yeah, and then so anyway, so we are like so smart, and so we move out of
We
Hollywood.
get the hell out of
So
there.
we're moving out of Hollywood, and what do? We take the crazies with us, because guess what happened next? Tell the story about Debbie and Jim. So Debbie and
Oh
Jim.
boy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One of the couples that moved to Burbank with us and moved into the same apartment house, they were just down the hallway
Yeah, we talked
from
about
us.
it in the last
And
video.
they ended up renting a little house out in an industrial area, not too far from our house. And when we,
Hold on a second. After eventually we all moved out of this apartment house, and we all moved in together. Me and David moved into a rental house, and then they moved also.
they moved into that
Yeah,
little
into
rental
that little house,
too.
right? Exactly. So
And then I don't remember what happened. I don't know where.
what happened to
What was
Pam
it,
and
Ralph
Paul?
and Fatima or
Fatma.
Fatma, yeah.
Yeah.
I never could remember how to pronounce it. Anyhow,
So they had a
we're in
barbecue.
the process. We were in the process of moving from the rental house to the house we just bought. And we're back and forth in the station wagon all day long, all week long, and Jim sees me, invites us over
For
a
barbecue.
barbecue that night because he knew that, So we go to Debbie and Jim's house. Debbie's got everything all ready to go. Jim is at the bar. She's calling. She's calling.
She's pissed.
Oh, she's mad. I end up starting the barbecue. She's preparing the steaks and everything. I end up putting charcoal, adding more charcoal, 3 times, 4 times?
I don't remember.
Jim wouldn't come home, didn't come home. When he comes home, he is messed. He's more than half in the bag. So he's got this
Recliner.
lazy boy
Boy,
in the
right.
corner. So I'm cooking, Debbie's in the kitchen.
She's mad.
And she's yelling at him, and Andre and I really don't know what's going on.
And we are kind of like going this to each other.
We just
Get
want
out.
to eat and get the hell home.
Yeah, this is.
And all of a sudden, Jim's got a 44 Magnum sitting in a wicker basket next to him. And he's got a couple of boxes of cartridges. And all of a sudden, he's opened up these boxes of cartridges, and he's throwing them at Debbie. She's standing in the kitchen with this little bar, and he's just whooping her with these 44 Magnum cartridges. Well, we finally get the steaks and the potatoes and everything done. Debbie's sitting in one corner. There's a couch. Andre's sitting on the edge of the couch pretty close to Jim. Jim's in the corner in his lounger, and I'm sitting in another chair. And Andre and I are just looking at each other. we're trying to eat as fast as we can
Get out of Dodge.
without speaking to each other.
We don't want
We both know we got to get the hell out of here. All of a sudden, Jim and Debbie's still on Jim,
Yeah.
still
She's
yelling.
like,
at
"Blah,
him.
blah, 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 blah."
She's so PO'd at him, and he is as drunk as you can get, I guess, and still be lucid. Is that the right word? He pulls out and he kept this 44 Magnum loaded all the time. Andrea's sitting about this far away from him.
No, like a little bit further.
A little,
yeah, a little bit further. Yeah.
He pulls out this 44
And
Magnum
because Debbie's sitting right next to me.
in
and
the
he's-
corner.
Right, and he's
She's
trying
not
to
on the couch. She's in the chair
right,
in
and
the corner.
he's trying to get to her, aiming the
He
gun.
pulls out this gun and goes bang. He misses Andrea's head by about this far.
Yep, goes right over.
I don't remember if there was an actual muzzle flash, but the heat of the bullet coming out of the barrel singed.
Cinched my hair,
Fried.
and I couldn't hear. I was
Oh.
completely deaf.
God. Oh,
And the-
yeah, with a
and-
44 Magnum
and the-
going off in a room the size of this room,
And the
I couldn't
bullet,
hear either.
and the bullet went out into
It
the
was a block wall building,
right.
and the cops could never find the bullet, remember? He didn't try to kill anybody. He fired it up in where the wall meets the ceiling. That's where he blew a hole this big around him, the stinking wall. And, oh, man.
Yeah. And then
what
I
a
was
mess
just
that
sitting
was.
there, and I was just still sitting there. I was like in disbelief. I was like shocked.
So-
And Dave was like,
I grabbed the both of you, the two women.
He's
I
like, "Get
shove them out the front. No. First, I went over and jumped on Jim and tried to take the gun away from him, and
and Debbie gets
Debbie-
the vase.
grabs this big pewter bowl with a plant in it, and she wants to slam it in his face. Well, I'm over the top of him trying to hold him down and take the gun away from him. She doesn't hit him. She gets me in the back of my head. Didn't cold cock me, but sure buckled my knees. So that's when I got you and Debbie out of there.
And I'm just still just
And
sitting there.
I wasn't successful at getting the gun. He was a lot bigger than me anyhow.
Right.
I couldn't take the gun away from him. So we go down the alley.
So we
didn't-
run. We are
we
running.
didn't know
David
this
is
guy
like,
was gonna come up.
run, and we go running down the alley, and there's a mechanic,
No, a wood shop.
Wood
a
shop,
cabinet
right.
maker.
Okay.
Cabinet maker
right?
shop.
He's still out there, and we are running, and he's like, "Was that a shot? Was that a?" He's like, "Call the cops! Call the cops! Call the cops!"
So we
And-
did, and
yeah.
boy, did the cops come.
Yeah, I know.
Motorcycles, cop cars, ambulances, helicopters.
Yep.
Oh boy.
I mean, he
Then
went.
we go to court, and they try to hit Jim with attempted murder. And when they call me to the stand, his defense attorney is all over my case. And when I said something about a muzzle flash, and he says, 44 Magnums don't have a muzzle flash. And I said, well, maybe it was just the way I do know that the heat fried my wife's hair. There's no doubt about that. So he tried to downplay whatever I had to say, but I actually stuck up for Jim. He did not try to kill anybody. He tried to,
Shut his wife up.
basically, he wasn't after us.
Yeah, no.
We didn't do anything. But anyhow, he got off the attempted murder charges. And then his girlfriend, Debbie, who left her wife and her husband and kids in
For him.
Oregon to
For
be
him.
with Jim, she refused to testify against him.
Right.
She stood up for him. I do not know what happened after that. I don't know whatever.
They left California. I think they went back to
I don't
Oregon.
know. It wasn't Cascade Locks. It was somewhere outside of Portland on the Columbia River where they were from. Anyhow, Andre and I got in the middle of something that, we were invited over for a nice casual dinner. Next day, there's gunshots and we're in court and they're attempted murder.
I know.
Screw me.
It's like it's really crazy. What I mean, this is just like a little bit, a little snippet of
Oh
what
boy,
has,
we got so
has
many
we
other
got so
stories.
many, we got so many stories. But that's basically when you live in Hollywood, you
Holly weird.
yeah, a lot of people live in Hollywood. Either you have two types of people live in Hollywood. Either you have like the everybody that's in Hollywood that lives in Hollywood wants to either is an entertainer and they live and they've made it and they live up in the hills and they are pretty
Hollywood
rich.
Hills.
Yeah, and they're pretty rich, or they are like the wannabe musicians, mainly musicians, actors, and they live like like 7 people to 1 bedroom. They want to
Just to
see
make ends meet.
right and to meet other people that are like-minded, to be in the same community.
Same in industry.
And then you have the tourists that think that this is all very hilarious. So like my brother, my mom loves Hollywood. Loves.
Oh, your brother
Oh,
loved Hollywood.
yeah.
He was into
So
all
does
the
Frank.
underground scenes. He and
Yeah.
Eric were going to the after hours clubs in the middle of the night.
Remember your hairdresser, the gay guy that invited us to his party.
Now wait a
It's like,
minute.
Ernst, the
Ernst.
German guy,
He was your friend first,
right?
and then you introduced me to him and sent me down. I'm not gay,
Yeah.
believe me, no matter
Yeah,
what. she
right. It
used to
has
say.
nothing to do with gay or not being gay. It's like, but this
I
guy was
really
the-
a sweetheart,
really,
really,
nice guy. Anyway, so he befriended me and Mike because we're all Germans, and he's like, "Oh, I'm having this party over the weekend. Do you guys want to come?" And Mike is
I
like,
never
"Well,
went to that.
yeah,
That was
Mike-
before me.
No, it was me and Mike.
Okay,
And
but
me
I
and
wasn't
Mike
there.
went. So Mike's like, "You want to go?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Yeah, I would like to see where he lives." And he lived right on Sunset too, right? Not very far from the beauty place that he owned.
From his
Figaro.
shop, right.
Figaro. So anyway, so we went into the party. It was like a Saturday night, and we get there, and I'm having a drink, and Mike is having a drink, and really great music, really great decor, because they have really, I mean, gay people have great taste. They have great taste in
You
music.
took the
they
words
have,
right out of
they
my
have
mouth.
great taste in music. They have great taste in decor. They have great taste in fashion. They are just great. And they're a woman's best friend, actually. So anyway, so I'm looking around and I'm talking. All of a sudden, Mike comes to me and he's like, "Hey," I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You notice something?" I'm like, "No, what?" He's like, "You're the only woman here."
Surprise, surprise.
I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Look, because Mike came there because he wanted to meet a girl. That's
there
why
was no other girl
there were no
except
girls
you and
there
his sister.
because they were all friends of theirs, friends of Ernst and his partner. And back then, you were not allowed to be
And
married
they
or
were all
whatever.
professional people.
Yeah,
and
all really,
well-to-do.
yeah, really, but no women. So Mike is like, "I'm out of here." He's like, "I have no interest in staying here." So, I mean, that was like the quickest we ever escaped a party ever. But that was kind of funny. But,
Ah. Remember the party we threw for Tyler's 3rd birthday? We had a German party. We did all German food, German beer, and everything.
like at the
And-
apartment house. In the,
Right, and
and the-
then when the party was over, we gravitated upstairs to our apartment, and we continued the party up there. And the other guy named Dave also, the wannabe actor that lived in the apartment house across the street, was hitting on you so bad.
Oh, yeah, isn't he the
And
guy?
then all
He's
of a
the,
sudden you're gone out of the party. I'm in our party in our apartment and you're not there. And your brother says, "Well, she went across the street with Dave and his buddy." Oh boy.
what was I doing there?
Drinking, dancing, singing.
No,
But
what was
it-
I doing at Dave's?
You went over there with him. I don't know why you went there. I never did find out. But I was on the hunt to kill somebody. You
I don't even know
that.
why I went over there.
Mike's the
You know,
only,
he-
Mike's the only one, your brother's the only one that stopped me from cleaning this guy's clock.
You know-
Now, he might have cleaned my clock. I'm not saying that I ever won a fight in my life.
No, you know what? He worked at the hotel.
Yeah, he was in the hotel industry.
Yeah,
That's
he
all
was.
I remember.
That was before I started at the Roosevelt. That's when I was still at the Plaza Suites.
All I remember was we had a great party going, and all of a sudden
I
you
was gone.
disappear across the street with somebody else. And yeah, we were living together at the time, which wasn't cool.
So anyway, so
We
that's it.
survived.
We survived, and then our life in Burbank started. So next episode or chapter will be when we're going to talk about Lillian. Lillian Nelson. That is like a
This
really
will be
good
an
story.
interesting story.
Very interesting story.
Related to the Reagans, some very wealthy people in
Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills on Cannon Drive.
And how yeah, this is a really good story. So
Well,
you
we
know,
think it's a really good story.
I think it's a great story. I think it's a really great
But
story.
we lived it. I mean, this
Yeah.
is truthful. This is whoever's watching this. We are not embellishing these stories.
I wish we were.
These
Some of the stuff I
are
wish I would have
things
never.
that actually happened to us
Mm-hmm.
that we really experienced. Now, some of them, Andre remembers them a little bit different than I do. Because, you know, you're talking things 25, 30, 32 years ago.
No, not 32.
We've been together for 33 years. We started in Hollywood 33 years ago.
Wow.
We spent a year and a half in Hollywood. And then Burbank, we spent 26 years.
Yeah, we met in 87.
April of 87. I
Yeah.
know exactly when I first started dating you.
So yeah, so it's been a lot. It's a lot of stuff that went down. So anyway, so if you're interested, let us know in the comments if you want to hear more. If not, then we'll just go back to the babies. But I'm going to do a
It
baby
is
video.
what it is.
I'm going to do a baby video anyway. What I want to do is I wanted to reweigh my Mason, make him a little bit more floppy, and also
I
my.
get so tired of this. Those little, oh God. And I can't see anyhow. If I take my glasses off, I'm blind. And
Well, I tried to do it by myself.
it's
It's
that-
easier to do it
you
together.
know, anybody that's in the reborn community that reweighs dolls, you know it's a lot easier if it's a two-person job. Somebody holding the baby, the other one pulling the ties and clipping, and then you feel it and hold it and see if it feels natural. I didn't mean to get into this, believe me. But
I dragged you kicking and screaming.
it is a two-person job. It's so much easier with two people doing it. Andrea buys all the materials and gets everything. I don't get paid for this.
I don't either.
And you're not going to see me holding a baby very damn often, I guarantee you that.
No. Anyway,
I've
guys,
had my babies.
you want to say goodbye?
Adios. Happy trails to you until we meet
again. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, give us a comment, and we'll see you.
And watch Andre's advertisements. Gives her some points.
Oh, yeah. Don't pause. Watch through it. I don't make a lot of money, a couple of cents, but whatever. I'll take it. It's free advertising.
Just mute it, let
You
it
guys.
run.
Look, we're giving you like our life story, right? Which is a lot more interesting than
When I
watching
talk
TV.
about it, it actually sounds pretty interesting. But then when I sit and think about it, these are things that we really
I know it's
survived.
crazy.
That we went
And
through.
and this is only like the tip of the iceberg of what we experienced. So anyway, so tune in if you're interested. And until then,
I can't imagine what we're going to talk about next. Well, you said Lillian.
well, plus, you know what, the reason why we are doing this also is that we found out that a lot of our friends are watching our channel. And like Lonnie, hey Lonnie, if you're watching, hi.
They like to relive it.
Right, because they've heard these stories and they like to relive it. Our
But they
kids,
were in part of them.
right, our kids don't know a lot of the stories, so they get to listen to it for the first time. So it's kind of like for them too. So it's kind of like a little diary for us. So with that being said, we're going to start dinner. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your night. Be kind to one another and let your love multiply. You wanna
I'm
have-
supposed to
Hey,
say happy trails again?